Hey, my name is Rue, and I'm an elopement filmmaker and photographer in Colorado, and today we're going to talk about everything you need to know about eloping in colorful Colorado. So it's the afternoon here in Colorado, and I may lose some light and some sound quality during this because of the thunderstorms that are rolling in, which we'll talk about. But first off, congratulations on the engagement, or whyever you're watching this video and you're super stoked about eloping here in Colorado. Don't worry about it, it's a super fine process. Planning a big traditional wedding is like super stressful and there's a lot to think about. For an elopement, it's not as stressful, but there are a few things that you should think about. So that's why this video is for you. So if you're thinking about eloping here in Colorado, first off, know that locals pronounce it Colorado. I'm a Washington native, so I pronounce it Colorado, which I'm sure a lot of local Coloradans would get on my case about. But if you're new to this channel, check out some of the other stuff. You can check out some of my other elopement films, which I'll link up there. And you can see just what it looks like here and what it looks like to elope here, because it's a really beautiful mountainous state and it's awesome. So check those out. Also check out my elopement versus traditional wedding video, and that'll give you an insight on what an elopement really is and why you may want to do that over a traditional wedding. Okay, step number 1, getting marriage license. Currently, it's pretty easy to get a marriage license in Colorado. You just have to apply through the county offices, the county clerks. Because of COVID, some of them are closed or their hours are diminished, but you can still go online and apply through there, have a virtual appointment, and they can ship you your marriage license. So don't stress about it. There's ways to get you your marriage license. You're totally gonna be okay. An exciting thing about Colorado is this is one of the few states where you don't need an officiant to marry you, meaning you can marry yourself or self-solemnize. You don't need witnesses, you don't need an officiant, you just need you two to solidify your love to one another and sign the marriage license. There are a ton of amazing officiants here, so if you have any questions about like which one you want or who you should talk to, hit me up. My email's in the description, and I can recommend some to you as well. Okay, point number 2, location, location, location. So Colorado's amazing. There's like so many cool spots here to elope. I know tons of really cool spots that are a little bit off the beaten path, but even if you're wanting to go somewhere accessible, there's tons of options. So let's talk about it. So option number 1, this is the top of my list because I think this is one of the most beautiful spots in the world that I've ever been to, is Rocky Mountain National Park. Rocky Mountain National Park is the 3rd most visited national park in the United States. But that doesn't mean to say that it's super crowded and obnoxious all the time. It just means it's super beautiful and people want to visit it. There's a small fee to get married in Rocky Mountain National Park, but they have a really good website I'll link in the description below that outlines which spots are available, especially during coronavirus, and how to reserve it. Super helpful, put it down there. Another spot you could go are just overlooks throughout Colorado. There's amazing overlooks all throughout the state. I'd recommend spots near Boulder and Breckenridge for the most accessible spots. Boulder is about 30 to 45 minutes away from Denver and super beautiful. Since they're so accessible, you can literally just drive up, pull off, park in this parking lot, and you have this amazing overlook right there that you feel like you would have to hike hours to go get to. These are just some of the most common spots to elope in Colorado. I'd also recommend just like looking at a topography map if that's what you're into, and just finding a spot in the mountains that you're like, wow, this would be a gorgeous hike and a beautiful place to elope, and choose that. A lot of these spots, especially during the summertime, can get kind of crowded. So if you want a more secluded and private area, yeah, choose to elope off the beaten path. Like I said, I've done a lot of hiking in Colorado and I've been all over the state. So if you want any fun, secret elopement spots, hit me up. I'd be happy to talk. So now that you got your marriage license and you found a place you really want to go to, now you're off to picking a date. Here in Colorado, you can't really go wrong. Whether you're doing a winter, snowy elopement, or a summer elopement in the mountains, either way it's going to be beautiful. Denver, where I currently am, gets 300 days of sunshine a year, but that doesn't mean to say that it's all going to be sunshine and rainbows all the time. In the summer, afternoon thunderstorms are quite common, and in the winter, even though it is sunny, there's snow on the ground. So the pros and cons in each: in the winter, the trails are a lot emptier and it's super pretty with all the snow, but there is snow, so that does close off some areas as well as make it a little more difficult to get to some areas. In the summertime, you don't have to worry about weather as much. There are sometimes afternoon thunderstorms, but by sunset, when you should be having your elopement, thunderstorms aren't much of an issue. But the trails are a lot more crowded. A lot more people have been waiting all winter to get back outside. And so some of the spots you may not have as secluded and as to yourself. Either way, it's gonna be great. Also in terms of timing, I'd highly recommend a weekday elopement. If you're coming from out of town or out of state, this is perfect because you can just extend your trip and you get a weekend on each side and you get more days here in Colorado. If you're local, you know what this means even more. It's just that much emptier. There's less traffic, there's less people on the trails, more vendors are gonna be available. If you can't swing a weekday, that's okay. Weekends are still fine, but try to shoot for a weekday elopement if you can. So the next step, book your vendors. This one I'm gonna be a little biased about is I am an elopement photographer and filmmaker. You've watched all the way to this point in the video. You might as well just consider reaching out to me. I'm here in Denver filming elopements and photographing elopements, so you might as well reach out. If you're not interested in me and you're like, this dude's kind of weird, no worries. You can also reach out and I can recommend other videographers or photographers or officiants in the area as well. But book those vendors as soon as you can. It's really nice for us to plan because the summer and especially fall gets really busy out here. Now that you have all of it planned, just get out here and let's have a good time. Book your plane tickets, your bus tickets, buy gas, load up the car, get the dog, find the Airbnb that you love, whatever you want to do, plan the trip out here and let's make it happen. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help. I'm here to be a resource for you. That's why I started this channel. I want to help people like you plan their elopement and have a really fulfilling, positive experience. So reach out if you have any questions. Thanks so much for watching. Have the best day ever.